the 65th, right? It's the 65th BFI London Film Festival. It's up and running, baby. It's up and running. Now, I think when you think about tennis, right? And the new features, everyone is probably thinking King Richard, which, hey, I'm very interested to see this film, right? It because you understand, Will, he wants that Oscar. And I think he feels that this is a role that could get him that Oscar win, right? So it's just like, is it gonna be that? And is the film gonna live up to everything that people are hoping it could be? But hey, it's not the only tennis film on show, and it's not the only tennis film that is showing um incredible black talent, right? And yeah, people, I am referring to Citizen Ashe, which, hey, I will be real, right? When I saw that on the program, I wondered what it was, right? I was like, oh, is this like some take on Citizen Kane? Is it that? What is this? So I went along to the press screening, right? And it's great because they happen. Some of those start to happen before the festival begins, right? So I went along and discovered it was about Arthur Ashe, and this was fascinating to me, right? It was fascinating because Ash, he obviously he was doing his thing a long time before I was born. Well, all right. Let's be fair. That was a long time. He won his last Wimbledon 3 years before I was born. Right. Now, granted, he was still playing, but not quite to that same level. And so I'd obviously heard of Ash, you know what I mean? But I didn't know all the minutiae of his career and his life. You know what I'm saying? And it's once you watch this, you will scratch your head and think to yourself, wait, why am I only learning about this now? Right? Why isn't this talked about more? Because the things he accomplished, it's insane. It's insane. And that some of those things were way after he stopped playing tennis. So you're just like, God damn, the impact he had on other people's lives. It's insane. Right? So you know, look, I yeah, he died in 93, and I knew it was it was sad, everything that happened. But yeah, the way you do the things that you learn in this documentary, it is a little heartbreaking, but it also it is just sensational, right? So it is directed by Rex Miller and Sam Pollard, right? So yeah, Miller produces it along with Stephen Cater and Goats, James Schultz, Beth Hubbard, and Janine. Oh, now it's like you could say Janine Ashe, but it's Montessori. I think it's Moutoussamy-Ashe. I feel that's how you pronounce it. Okay, so it's edited by Lewis Rapkin, R.A. Fed, Federico Roosevelt, and Ben Sovasky. Music is from Jonjik Bontemps, I think. Um, yeah, I mean that's the yeah, I mean that's the main kind of thing, right? So the cast, I mean, it features right just a whole host of talent, right? And people who I think everyone you know will will know, right? So you have John McEnroe, Billie Jean King, but then you also have people in here, right? Like Harry Edwards, you know what I mean? Like a renowned activist back in that time. Donald Dell, Stephanie Cookie Carson, right? Johnny Ash, yeah, Arthur's brother. You know, yeah, and other people, right? We had Lenny Simpson, um, also, right? Also, you saw Nelson Mandela. Yeah, it was just like, yo, it was really just extremely interesting. Extremely interesting. Now, I tell you what it is exactly about. So, Citizen Ash is the story of sports legend and social activist Arthur Ashe, known to most people by his stellar sports career, Wimbledon, the the US Open, and the Australian Open winner. Um, Played on the Davis Cup team. You know, this film uncovers Ash's personal evolution, how his activism grew and embraced not only the civil rights movement and African Americans, but all oppressed peoples throughout the world. Ashe died of age related complications in 1993 and was posthumously, posthumously, I God damn it. That word, I never get it right, but you know what I mean. Awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom the same year. I mean, right? I mean, so this was produced by Dog Wolf, right? And we have looked at, on Echo Chamber. What is it? We looked at the MIA, her documentary they did, and they also did, I believe, the one on Amir Khan. Yeah, I feel there's been a few things that we've looked at with Dog Walk, and they do some great stuff. But to I really emphasize the effect of this, CNN films and HBO, they picked it up, right? So I feel that will tell you the quality of this piece, and whoo, people, it is moving as fuck. God damn, right? It's a funny one. And when I say it's a funny one, I don't mean funny, ha ha. I mean it's the way it grabs you. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of like The Wire, right? Because you're watching it and you're like, no, this is interesting. Well, for me anyway, I remember watching it. Everyone talked about The Wire. The Wire is so great and all of this. And so I remember I went to my local library. I got the first season. The first season had finished. And I'm watching it and I'm like, it's okay. But I don't know. I'm not overwhelmed. But by like the third episode, something like that, I'm just like, yo, what are they doing? Like, no, she can't. What? And I realized I'm just gripped. Right? I'm just so immersed with these characters. And this documentary, like it's now, I will say, you don't start off and be like, because it's impactful. But you're watching it on one level, and then by the end of it, it is in the very fibers of your person. You know what I mean? I feel it embeds itself on your soul, because everything that you see now, it'll be interesting how other people digest this, because I think myself, right? You watch it and you understand a lot of the things Ash was saying, right? How I there's this one thing, because Harry Edwards, he contacts Arthur and he's just like, you need to be talking, right? You're in this high place. You have this level of access not everyone has. And you're not really talking on, you know, black rights, right? Now, Arthur, I think he kind of felt that his playing was a message. The things he was doing on the court was a message. But Edwards wanted more. He wanted more, because he was definitely of that Malcolm mindset, and Malcolm X, obviously, people, right? Of, hey, you have to come with authority, right? Because if you are too timid, people will not listen. People will just ignore you. Which, hey, this is a thing we've seen. You know what I mean? But Arthur, he just wasn't that person. Yeah, he wasn't that aggressive. He wasn't that, I am gonna dominate the room with, the way I'm carrying myself kind of person. Now, he will dominate a room, but in a different manner. Right. And it was interesting the way Arthur talked about this later on, saying that he always felt as a kid that the way he had to act was prescribed by, segregation, right? And, society. And then you have, you know, the activism, right? And there's some of the civil rights activism at a point was, to be black, you have to represent it in this way. You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, so on one side, you have society telling me I have to be this. On the other side, I'm being told by the black community to be this. And it was just like, I just wanted to be me, right? I was tired of people trying to dictate who I am and how I'm meant to carry myself. And I kind of feel that is something that does ring true, right? You definitely feel that growing up. And as I said, I don't know how that may resonate to other, ethnicities, right? Like how you feel, and demographics, right? How you feel growing up, because I think that might resonate with, some groups, but maybe not others. But I feel everyone, you can understand the point, right? It might not be your life, but I feel these are things that you can definitely understand. And the way Arthur carries it, he's so, I mean, it's the way he will hit you with the wordplay, right? Arthur Ashe is kind of like Rakim, you know what I mean? Or Jay-Z, just the way he will, string that word flow together and break things down. You can even say Nas, right? That's what he's doing. And Edwards, that you know, I mean, you hear him profess to that, right? Be like, yo, I thought he was one thing, and I came to realize Arthur was something else. Arthur was more impactful than me, right? So we start off with Arthur, and it was very interesting. It's an interesting way to start this off, right? So we have footage of him playing, and then Arthur talking. They've got this, you know, obviously it's a archive material, but you have him talking about his mindset and how the game of tennis suited him, right? Suited the way he thought, and how he kind of pictured things, which was really broken down in his 75 victory at Wimbledon. And also the I think the game, yeah, where he beat Jimmy Connors. Jimmy Connors? Jimmy Connors. Jim Connors. Yeah, I believe it. Jim Connors. That is the name. Ugh, my memory is trash, people. You know that. Um, but yeah, I think everything that we kind of learn from him, you just be like, damn, that's incredible, right? So we have that. That's how it opens with this, and then um, we hear from someone else. There's another narrator, and they're talking about just tennis and how tennis was, right? Because it is, you know, you wear whites, right? And it was how it was. It was just a white game. You know, like the tennis clubs and all of that to get membership. They were white only. It is and it definitely was a sport at that time that was, yeah, there was no diversity in tennis. There was no one wanted diversity in tennis, right? So that's the image of the game. And I think when you think about sports, right, that is one of those ones where you've been like, is it though? Right now, obviously, as time has gone, we have seen, you know, the Williams sisters, you know, as we've you know, as mentioned at the top, King Richard, right? The Williams sisters. Oh my gosh, the impact they had. You know what I'm saying? It's just like what they brought to the game. You know, Tiger with golf, right? You have certain sports that it was the perception of, you know, this is a white sport. We can't play this. We can't participate. We ain't welcome here. You know, Lewis Hamilton with Formula One. Hey, and you know, if you listen to Echoes from the Void, you know my feelings on Lewis, right? But hey, whatever I feel about Lewis, he is a a you know a forerunner in that sport for black people, right? There is that to, you know, and look, you don't have to do anything, right? You know, it's, I don't think we have to put on the people, yo, you have to now do this thing, but it lets people know, yo, oh, I can do that, right? I can do that. Okay. Now, it's not as simple as that, right? There is barriers to entry, and we learn how he gets in, right? His dad was a caretaker at this school, so it was a black playground because again segregation. So this was the largest black playground in the area, and his dad was the caretaker. Came with a house, so they lived there, and you know, right by were the tennis courts, and that's how Arthur got playing. And at the age of 10, Dr. Johnson saw him play and was like, okay, and brought him onto his team because Dr. Johnson was, you know, training black players, right? He was trying to fight that segregation. And so we learn all about this, and it's fascinating. And especially how Arthur's game changed, from being more reserved, right? So when he goes off to St. Louis for school, he moved school because of tennis, right? They had a better program. Um, he says like, "Yo, no one knew me here, so it allowed me to be free." Right. And so now I was just like, all right, I'm going to be something else. So I'm attacking the ball more. Right. And you'd be like, yo, I understand that. Right. I understand that level of freedom. Right. That amenuity. I feel that's the word. Right. Um, when no one knows you, right? So it allows you to be something else, to invent yourself in a certain way, right? To not fit into the boxes people want to put you into, right? So it's just the things we learn about Arthur. And from the top, I said it's shocking how we didn't know about some of this, and maybe this is taught in America. It's not in the UK, right? So Wimbledon was the crown jewel, right? And I feel Wimbledon still is, and that's not a UK pride. It's just, from what you can assess from the tennis world, right? Um, and I feel Wimbledon is, but they then started the US Open, and Arthur Ashe was the first player, men's player, to win the US Open, right? So not just the first black player to win. No. The first ever, which is just, and I feel their number one call, I feel that is called the Arthur Ashe call. I believe I'm right on that. But yeah, not really talked about. Not really talked about. He's the first player, period, to win the US Open. Incredible. And so you learn all of these things about Arthur, right? And, as mentioned, Jimmy Connors, he was someone that came up, and then it was like you saw, Arthur never beat him, but then he had to play him in Wimbledon. And Arthur says he felt he got to, I think he was 32 at the time. I think it was 32, maybe 35. But he felt, this is probably going to be my last really competitive season, which I feel that's a huge thing, right? Having the understanding to realize, this is now or never, right? This is where I make my real impact. I'm going out strong. So to have that foresight, right, that tells you something about Arthur. And going into Wimbledon, the way they broke it down, right? The way they were like, okay, now my game is this. So usually you play to your strengths, but it was just like, all right, Connors plays in one way. How do we beat that? And so it was just like, oh man, the way they broke it was, whew, it just tells you so much, which kind of bleeds then into his life out of tennis, right? The activism, just, and this was before the Wimbledon, right? But he fought to go and play in South Africa. Fought, and they denied it, but it all came about. And although it didn't go maybe fully to plan, but then when you look at it, I think it kind of did, right? He did what he really wanted to do out there, and that was let the kids know, let people know that, yeah, you're going through apartheid, but this is something you can strive for, right? yeah, things aren't as closed off to you as people want to kind of perceive. You know what I mean? And he kind of fought for, you know, Nelson Mandela to be free. I feel it, you know, he was the person that kind of spearheaded the sanction on sports that went on South Africa because of their appalling behaviors, right? And you're just like, yo, that was Ash. Ash went to the UN to talk on that shit. And you learn all of this. It's and this documentary it goes into his life, right? The personal life, right? He's dating, the way he perceived things, and all of that, and then the connection he made with Jeannie, right? And we see that and how that then transformed his views, right? It's funny because Arthur, he's kind of like Malcolm and Martin, right? And it's kind of like he started off more like Martin and then became a bit more like Malcolm. But you kind of feel more like Malcolm after he he came out of prison, right? How he no, it wasn't when he came out of prison. It was after he went on his pilgrimage, right? And he came back and was just like, yo, you know what? It doesn't have to be black against white, right? We can work together. And there was a more tempered Malcolm, but still with the first to fight for, you know, the things he felt were needed. You know what I'm saying? And we saw that, and in part, some of that was because of what happened with Emmett Till. You know, and we see how these different things in life affected Arthur, and it is, it really hits you, right? There's a point where he talks about dying and meeting his mother, right? Which was just like, ooh, oh my gosh, you know, and the way they captured it, right? The imagery they used, you know, the choice of footage and everything like that. Oh, this was so well put together. It really was. It's so well put together. You know, we had his brother talking, Jeannie talking, Harry talking, just all these people talking, John McEnroe talking. You know, and right on one hand, you look at these two people, you think they're so different, but then you know, then they both talked about how they're kind of similar, right? And the envy they had for it, the way each other kind of carried themselves, and you're just like, yo, yeah, this is so fascinating. And you know, it's heartbreaking in the way he dies, right? Because he died of AIDS. Or you don't, I mean, you don't actually die of AIDS. It's always AIDS related, you know, like pneumonia and symptoms. Because AIDS will just, it destroys your immune system. So then, you know, the flu can kill you and things like that. But it's a blood transfusion. He wasn't, you know, living a reckless life and all of that. So this thing hits him, but that doesn't slow him down. And we see just the incredible things he does after that. It wasn't, oh, I'm done. I'm done. No, no, no. We see the other side of the work Arthur does, and it is so inspiring, so inspiring, because you look and you see the doors Arthur Ashe opened, right? So when I mentioned, you know, Tiger, Serena, Venus, Arthur did that. You know what I mean? Arthur made those things possible in a way, and you see people like LeBron James, like Barack Obama even says that Arthur was such an inspiration for him, right? And you see the people whose life he impacted, right? Billie Jean King talks about how Arthur was, you know, so meaningful to be around. Like Harry, it's incredible. It's incredible. Oh my gosh, the thing that his brother does for him as well. My days, people. Listen, I know sometimes you like, I don't know about documentary, right? I'd rather watch a feature film, but people, if you get the opportunity, Citizen Ashe, whoo, Citizen Ashe, you do not, trust me, you do not want to miss it. It really is something special. And ain't gonna lie, right? When I left that screening, when those credits started to fall, oh, right, there was some dampness in the old eyes. Oh, it's so touching. It really is. So yeah, I if you get the opportunity, people go and check out um Citizen Ashe. It's not that, it's like it kind of feels about an hour and a half, right? Hour and a half. What is it? Eight, no, it's not even that. It is, no, it's 95 minutes. 95 minutes. And I think, as I said, look, HBO Max have it. So in the States, yeah, if you've got HBO Max, I believe you will get this. So people, definitely check it out. It is yeah, I mean, it's something that will touch you wherever you grew up. Whatever your race, your gender, demographic, it doesn't matter. This is something that transcends everything. So yeah, Citizen Ash, people, go check it out.